Hey guys, Erica here, and this is episode 2 of From Story to Book, where I am documenting my journey from taking a story that I wrote and putting it out into the world in a published book. This is my third published book and the second of my Pixie series, the first one being Pixie and the Bees. So this episode, it's gonna sound like it's not a big deal, and it's not very much because I'm doing this in like under 10 minutes, but this process can take some time. And this is the rewriting and editing phase. And what really is important, I think, to know off the get-go is sometimes I think when new writers think about writing and they have a first draft, or they think, okay, I've written a story, they think it has to be perfect. They think they have to have written a perfect story from beginning to end. And that is not at all true. What you do is you're writing something down so that you have something to edit, so you have something to work with. There's so many quotes about this, like you can't edit a blank page, but it's true. So you've written something and it's a bit damaged, and that's okay because it's written. And so what I would encourage you to do first off is to pause, to like take a step back, give yourself some space and celebrate. You have written a draft, you've written something that you really want to publish, and that's amazing. Give yourself a bit of space and time to enjoy that. It feels so good, and I don't want you to rush into editing without really taking time for yourself. So please do that. Tell your friends, whoever you're wanting to share with on this journey, and say, hey guys, like I just wrote something and I'm gonna publish it and it's amazing, and I'm starting this journey and I'm so excited. Celebrate, okay? So now that you've celebrated and you're ready to start moving, you're gonna take out that first draft that you wrote and you're going to read it over. You're gonna read it probably, I don't know, a lot of times, maybe 100. Stephen King, and I haven't read his book in a little while, and so I might be getting this a little bit wrong, but I believe that what he does is he gives his first draft to his wife first, and she'll read it over first. And that's his process, is that she reads it over, and I think she gives him some feedback, and then his editing and rewriting starts there. Because I'm doing a children's size book, it's like a children's book, this editing process for this one is going to be a little bit different than it would if I was writing a novel. So perhaps what I'll do is give a little bit more information in other videos, but for this one I'm talking specifically around my own process. So I've done the first draft, I'm really excited, taking a break, celebrate, and now I'm reading it over and reading it over and reading it over and reading it over, and looking to see, like, does it flow? Am I missing information? Are there plot holes? Did I get everyone's name right? And then once I kind of like have the rhythm, it's like, okay, yeah, actually this is good. Like I am in a place now where this story feels really good to me. It's not, maybe not 100% done, but it's really close. So then what I do is I give it to friends. I have like a few friends that I trust, and I think this is very key too, is at this point it's still like a pretty vulnerable piece of you, so you're only going to want to share with people that you really trust at this phase. And I share it with just a few friends, and so I like to have at least one cheerleader who I send it to, and this person is going to think it's the greatest thing they've ever read, no matter what. It will always be the best thing they've ever read. They will be like sending back their feedback as they're like planning their outfit of what they're gonna wear when you take them to like Hollywood, when your book becomes a big movie. You want to send it to them. You also want to send it to people who have a really keen eye and who are going to give you some solid feedback. And so it might even be something like, I really didn't like the ending, but maybe not just that. It'll be like, I really didn't like the ending and here's why. Or I got a bit confused. I wasn't too sure. Like it seemed to jump from this spot to this spot. And so I did get that, and I sent it to some friends, and I got back things like, you know what, Erica, like this was really good, but I felt like it, like this one little section was like, it was went over too fast, and I didn't quite understand the whole thing, and I feel like there's something missing. So I was able to take their feedback, look at it through their lens, and say, yeah, you know what, actually that's true, because I know these characters inside and out. I know them, I know this story. This is ultimately based on my life. It's like a memoir in the form of a fable. So of course I know this story, so it's easy for me to miss things when I'm reading it. So these are the things you want to do. For me, because it's a children's book and I like to have like some rhythm and repetition to it, is I like to kind of go back and make sure that when I'm repeating things, I'm repeating it exactly in the way that I want it to. I'm not overdoing it. So there's a lot of little things that I'm looking for in this. And again, sending it to people, getting their feedback. And then there's the full-on editing where you're looking for grammar, punctuation, spelling, things like that. I do editing as well, so I feel like I have a really keen eye. However, I am very close to my story and I don't always catch things. So even still, I still send it to other people for them to also do some editing. You can hire people to do your editing. And I think that especially if you have a novel, or you're maybe not feeling as confident in your grammar and spelling and everything, that yeah, you hire someone to do this editing for you, it's going to be worth it to spend that money. So when you're doing things on your own, because there's a lot you can do on your own, I like to find a different location. I like to edit in a different location than I write. It just is a bit of a shift for me. I even like to go to a coffee shop and sit in a coffee shop and edit. And if I've written in that coffee shop, then I'll sit in a different seat when I edit. Yeah, so shift around. I also really like to print it out. I'm a big paper, like I need things on paper because I think it's an age thing. I grew up in the before computers were really a big deal. So print it out, and because I've written a children's length story, I can do that. I can print it out like 100 times and edit it. So I print it out, I mark it up by hand, and then I put the edits into the computer, print it out again, and then I edit it again. And I go back and forth with that a whole bunch of times until I have it the way I want to. So I just talked an awful lot about the editing and rewrite phase, and there's so much more I can say. And I actually, as I'm kind of doing this, I'm thinking I would like to do a video that goes over the different types of editing and things to look for. But for now, for the purpose of this series, this episode within it is about my editing experience with my story, and that's basically it. Sending it to people, working on the big picture stuff first, and then kind of like working your way in. So you're starting like big picture, and then you're gonna focus in a little bit more on the details as you get closer, because there's no point in fixing spelling and grammar until you know what words you're keeping in this story, right? So yeah, so that's the next stage. Pixie and the Fox has been rewritten and edited so many times, and to be perfectly honest, it's probably not done yet. I will probably keep making some little tiny edits right up until the time I send it to the printers. Or actually not till the time I send it to the printers, but right up until the time I get it put on, formatted on a page. All right. Thank you for being here. Please follow along if you want to learn more about my process of putting Pixie and the Fox from story to book. You can follow that hashtag from story to book. You can follow the hashtag Pixie and the Fox. And of course, you can follow me at Open Skies Stories. Bye for now.